got this buddy Gabriel who's just an incredibly gifted musician. The way he just playing instruments and his voice is just incredible. And it's like an appreciation for that skill that I don't necessarily have. And so similarly, like with shoes and how like you can connect on that level, like connecting with people over like gifts and abilities, and just everyday life, being like, oh, like I appreciate that. That's super cool. I don't have that gift. Again, just like reminding us of our like humanity and like different skills and abilities.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Soul Reality Podcast. This is episode 2. We're your co-hosts AD and K. How you feeling?
Dude, feeling good.
Come on.
I like running this back.
Let's do it.
I feel like we have our pants on a little bit better this time around. Yeah. A little livelier in the voice, but also just kind of like excited to just see where this episode goes.
Yeah, kind of got a feel for it. So
yeah,
excited for what we got today.
Bang.
All right. So you can pray us in, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll kick this off, and then we'll jump into conversation. God, man, you're dope. And thank you just for this time where we get to sit and talk and just be bros and kind of venture down rabbit holes together, just for the sake of loving you and loving sneakers. Just let this time be honoring to you. Let it be fun. Let's just roll with it. It's fun when we get to just roll and have a good time. So pray that you just be in our conversation. If this is supposed to like move mountains for somebody, would you let it? And if not, God, would you just let it roll off their shoulders? It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Boom.
All right, man. Well, hey, it's good to have you back from Bahamas.
Thank you.
Got to hang out with you a little bit yesterday, but what you got on your feet today, man?
Yeah, today, you know what? As we do that, I'm going to turn the sneaker cam on. That way we can have some cool footage. I feel like that'd be pretty sick.
Live action.
Yeah. Today I have my Kentucky Dunks on. These are actually the re-release. These came out in I want to say they came out in 2021, maybe 2020. And that was a pair I really wanted, and I never got them. And then they restocked or re-released last year. I actually picked these up on my birthday.
Oh, word?
Yeah. I'm going to shout out the Vaulty right now.
Oh, you got those at the Vaulty?
Yeah.
Dude.
Went on my birthday. I go every year on my birthday to the Vaulty. I always either pick out a pair of shoes or a shirt. Mm. And actually...
Treat yourself.
Yeah. A little birthday treat.
There you go.
Yeah. Just shook your daddy myself a little bit. just buy whichever you want. I'm actually... The shirt I'm wearing and the shoes I got for my birthday for myself, this past one. But love these shoes, super comfortable. Just a fan of them.
Sick.
So it's kind of the story behind them too.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. What about you? What you got on today?
I actually also got a pair of Dunks on, which is kind of wild. Last episode we both had some ones on. I had high tops, you had lows, and now we both got the Dunks. That's kind of crazy.
Dunky boys.
Yes, sir. So these are the Michigan State Dunks. I got them in New York when we went together. We went for a mission trip. We got one free day, and we pretty much just did only sneaker stuff.
But it was sick.
It was a lot of fun. That's my first time in New York. Great city. Just like a lot of crazy amounts of different cultures. It's cool to just walk down the streets and just hear the different languages. In Texas you hear English and Spanish and that's it.
Yeah.
But there, you heard Spanish and Portuguese and Mandarin and French and Italian. It was just oh my goodness, this is so cool. It's just this mix of cultures. It was really neat. But we went to obviously Flight Club. If you're in New York, you got to go to Flight Club. We didn't get to go to Stadium Goods. But my budget was super tight, so we ended up going down the street to a resale store, because I was looking at the White 3 Cements had released that weekend.
Yep.
I was looking at some ceramic Dunks. They had some green, and they're the green and orange, which usually don't go together, but they were washed colors, kind of I don't know. I just thought they were a really cool colorway, but they were at Flight Club for $300. They're cheaper on GOAT, but. Anyway, I found these. They were used, but super good condition for $110. I think.
That's a steal.
Which is like retail. And Dunks, if you don't know sneakers, Dunks always just go up as soon as they sell out off the drop. But.
Well, and those specifically too, like that's a super popular, but like kind of rare. Like popular in the sense of like everyone wants it, but kind of like limited.
You don't find
supply.
Them. I think Hobby has some. One of our buddies from group has some, but that's the only other person I've seen with them.
Huh. They're dope.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah, no, I really like them. And I went on that trip. I was like, I'm going to New York. Like, I really, really, really want to get a pair of sneakers down there.
Yeah.
So it's cool to find this deal. No box, but I mean, I use them all the time. And like we talked about, like with a low top shoe, it's so versatile. You can wear it with pants or just with like basketball shorts and a t-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
So I use these a lot. I've got 3 pairs of shoes on my little shoe rack thing that are like out in the open because those are like the ones that I use most consistently, and then these are on there. They're on that rack for show.
Nice. I don't think I ever told you, but I think I made a stupid decision in buying the white cements that weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you were on the fence about it.
I was on the fence, and probably for a good reason. I think more than I knew. Like, it was the only pair that I wanted at the time. But like the place that you got your shoes at, it's called Hype Club, similar to Flight Club. Hype Club. They're dope. They actually had really good deals.
Yeah. And I think they gave us a discount.
Yeah, it was like
a 10% or something.
Yeah. On mine, because you like filled out the review. You're like, oh yeah, you're like trying to knock off money for me.
Yeah. I did the review in store.
Yeah, it only like knocked off like $10, but it was like, hey, that's $10.
Yeah,
I saved. But at the time, they were super popular. Everyone was waiting on them to release because they hadn't come out in a while. But I bought them. I'm like ashamed to say what I bought them. I bought them for like $400.
Was it that much?
It was $400 because tax. Tax was like $40-$50 by itself. It was a ridiculous tax.
Yeah.
But if you look at the prices on them now, brand new, $260. Dude, I should have just waited and gone with one of the other used pairs because I was between like, I think I was between.
You were looking at like a
Mocha 3.
Yeah.
The Fire Red 4s, and
there was one other pair.
I want to say it was like a Dunk of some kind.
Yeah, that you could have gotten for the same price of
yeah.
One. Yeah.
Actually cheaper. I think they were all
were they all used?
They were all used.
Yeah.
They were all like $160, $175. So I could have left with like 2, maybe 3 pairs for the price of that one.
Yeah, because you've got restoration experience, so
yeah,
you could have definitely brought those up in value for sure.
Yeah, I should have. That's like one of those shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of things. But now I want to go back to New York and just go like buy a used pair, just for the sake of like getting the deal.
Yeah,
and then restoring them. Shout out Reshoevnator too. If you need your shoes restored, hit me up. Or if you just like cleaning your shoes, use my my code. I'll put it in the show notes. Adler Gakey gets you 10% off your next purchase. They're not sponsoring this show, but I figured I'd throw that out there.
Absolutely. Hey, that stuff works too. I mean,
So
I've got
stuff.
I think right over there, I've got a one of those to-go wipes.
Yeah.
It's in a little aluminum
Those things are dope.
things,
It's like
wrappers.
one side is just like a normal wipe, and then the other side, if you feel it, it's like it feels bubbly.
Yeah.
But it's actually like a
Like
a
abrasive
scrubber.
material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
abrasive material.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I've had many shoes cleaned by this man using Reshoevnator products, and they come back looking like brand new. Which also, those Fear of Gods that I had with like the suede part was like just disgusting and nasty. I don't know how you restored that, but they're like fuzzy soft now.
Magic, baby.
It's awesome.
Magic.
And Reshoevnator.
In a laundry machine or a washing machine. That's what it's called. Laundry
Nice.
machine. Yeah. Give away that secret. Everyone needs one.
Sweet. All right.
Uh,
Well, hey, I know I was looking at actually a list earlier, just like on my Instagram feed of like drops that are coming up. How you feeling about what's coming out this month?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. This next month, I'm excited for nothing.
Really?
Like, there's
Not even the University Blue ones?
I already have so many. This sounds so snobby, what I'm gonna say. As I'm saying, I'm like, wow, I sound like a jerk. I have so many UNC or University Blue inspired like shoes because I have the UNC 3s, got the UNC 1s, got the UNC 1 lows.
Yeah. I forget about those.
And then I've got the Kentucky's. Like, I have a bunch of blue shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that I'm not excited for them. I just know I won't pick them up because it's like just buying another of what I already have.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel like it's kind of wasteful, but at the same time, it's like it's a black-toed shoe, and I just, like I said last week, like I don't wear black, like dominant shoes because like I feel like I can't pull them off. That's why like I have the mochas, but I hardly ever wear them because I just don't think it looks good on me. Like I'd rather wear like an all-white shoe.
And the top it doesn't have white because like the toe box, the top of the toe box is even it's that university blue.
Yeah,
which conversely I think is a little bit different, and I really like it. I tried to get the stock drop this week and I did not hit. Like I was on the app. I told my coworkers like, hold on, give me like 5 minutes. These drop in 2 minutes. You know, I got my wallet out, got everything ready because I have everything in, but I just wanted to get it there. Like looking at the card, and I didn't hit.
I remember you texted me. You're like, "Bro, I didn't freaking get them." Like Sneakers hates me. Sneakers hates everybody. I'm true. Like confident the only people who ever win on Sneakers are either botters or people who work for Nike.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But it's always like checking for bots, eliminating the bots.
Yes.
Like, no way.
Yes, I've hit on Sneakers before. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like I've noticed most of the drops. I'd say probably 80% of the drops that I've hit are drops that like end up taking forever to sell out. So like even like my Shima Air Max 1s, like I got them right when they released and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome because everyone loves the mocha color. They're sat for like 2 weeks
cool.
on the site.
I like them, but I was gonna get some, but then like I've got those Forces with the brown laces that I put on. Those are kind of nice. I've got like 3 pairs of white shoes, like predominantly white shoes, and so I think I've been looking for an Air Max 1. I think I'm going to get those Escapes. Just they're not super crazy popular, but I like the pine trees on the heel. I think they're just a little different.
Yeah. That's dope. I'm kind of on an Air Max 1 craze right now. Maybe just because it's like a really good summer shoe. Yeah. But like I want the mica greens, which I don't know if you've seen them or not. They're kind of like the seafoam ish color. Yeah. It's just a clean look. Like it's almost neutral. With
it's kind of
still pastel, exactly.
But you can wear pastels with like almost anything.
Yeah, and then they have like an ironstone one, which is like it's like a sail kind of color, like predominantly, but then it has like this darker colored swoosh. So I don't know, maybe I'll get another pair of MX 1s. I'm kind of waiting. I'm between a couple sneakers right now. Not that I need to be buying any. Yeah. But there's just something in me that's just like, oh, I haven't gotten a new pair in a while. Yeah. I'm like itching to get a new pair.
Yeah, I've been wanting a pair of Air Max 1s just because, like, again, low top sneaker, super versatile.
They're just solid.
And I don't have any Air Maxes right now.
Really?
I mean, I used to have a bunch, but as I stated in the last podcast, I sold everything. Yeah. So I'm kind of restarting, but not in any rush, because I'm also trying to save just for like actually life stuff, like a truck.
Healthy budget boys.
But yeah. Trying to stay in the game, but not let it drain my finances like it has in the past. So
that's probably the biggest con of like being a sneakerhead is like almost just like the addiction to the game. Like it's not even necessarily what you get. Sometimes it is, but it's more of like just getting something.
Yeah.
So
it's like tattoos too.
Yeah.
Like, you get one, you're like, oh, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, let me get another. Speaking of which, I have, as stated in the last podcast, I had started a process for getting a tattoo that was a reference to that verse that's really been inspiring me this year.
Right.
Solidified the appointment the 29th, at 28th or 29th, the last Saturday of the month. So we're in.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
Sweet. So a couple episodes. I'll show it off.
Yeah.
Post it on the Instagram.
Honestly, it might be the next episode. If we're going every other week, 2 episodes.
Probably 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, though. We'll put something on like socials or whatever. Yeah. So, also, big apology to those of y'all that were listening to episode 1. One, so glad that y'all are checking it out on YouTube, following us on YouTube, checking us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything. Right now, we are running into a little bit of a problem with Apple Podcasts, so I'm working with them on that. Please just bear with me. trying to figure that out. They're being difficult. And our camera cut out halfway through on YouTube. So, but just to kind of clarify, our episodes moving forward will probably be between 30 and 40 minutes. Just for the sake of, having a good like drive to and from work, healthy size podcast.
Easier
plus camera won't die on us
to listen to.
Yeah. So,
two testimonies in less than an hour is hard to hit.
That's yeah. So, but I mean, while we're talking about all this sneakerhead trends and stuff like that, I feel like today is a good time to just talk about what the heck sneaker culture is. For those of you who are listening because you are a sneakerhead or you're into fashion or whatever, you kind of have a gist of like, people who like sneakers just act a certain way. And so they're kind of predictable. But for those of you that are listening for the sake of like the Christianity aspect, or because you're our friends and you just love supporting us, I think it's probably helpful to break down a little bit of what sneaker culture is. And probably the biggest thing to it is just a love for sneakers. And it's crazy how like it's just footwear. But gosh, obviously like almost everyone wears shoes. But it's crazy how many people will connect over just like a pair of laces. Like that's ridiculous, bro. Sneaker Con and all the different got soul, lace up, like all these different shows just for dudes to go buy, sell, and check out each other's feet. That's wild.
When you say it like that, it's a little different.
Okay, sure.
We'll say the shoes that are on the feet.
Yes. Okay, that's definitely what I meant. And we out here just pulling up
with our dogs
raw
out.
Dogs. Raw dogs on the feet.
Yeah, man. I mean, and I can even remember just like when I first got into it, and still occasionally just like watching like complex sneaker shopping, just like watching people buy sneakers, which is just crazy to think about. But what has really impacted me about just like being involved in the sneaker culture and being connecting with people over the game is just I think a lot of times you can just see people in every day passing by and just like not really think of them as humans. Like you ever see your teacher outside the classroom and you're like, oh my God, you have a life. What?
You live outside of a
you don't sleep in the classroom?
Pretty sure you keep your food in my cubby when I'm not using it.
So but seriously, like just connecting with people, it's like that human aspect of like, hey, like these are just things we love, and it starts with like, oh, what you got, like what are you wearing? Oh, I like those. Oh, I've seen those. Oh, did you see? And it's just like quick way to build friendships. And even if you never see that person again, you like just personal connection is something that I just think is so important as humans. And with a virtual age, I mean, we're even like this podcast is like you're probably listening from your phone. Whether it's like plugged into your truck or you're sitting at home on YouTube, but like real personal connection, I think it's so easy in the sneaker culture, and it's so healthy as well, just to be involved with some people who are like-minded. And share a passion and a love for like this, like something that no matter who you are, what you look like, what kind of hairstyle, what kind of skin color, what kind of background, what kind of ethnicity, like you see somebody with some heat on their feet, everybody's like, oh, bro, like your sneakers. Today, some kid was walking by at Willie's Ice House, and he was like, oh, dude, like I like your dunks. Those are so cool. I was like, oh, heck yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly that. As soon as I walked in, one of the waiters was like, bro, your shoes are fire. And I was like, thanks. Like I wasn't expecting him to get so passionate about it. I was like,
I love
thanks,
it, man.
bro. Yeah.
It's just like,
it's like it's an icebreaker. Which is it's cool. Because then it's like, you don't have to talk long to people. Or even develop a relationship. You just be like, that dude's got cool shoes. Like I'm gonna go dab him up and then never talk to him again. And you will always be on like a good kind of like status with that person.
That's the thing. It's just it's always positive. It's always positive. Every now and then you'll get the like your shoes and they like look at you. But I'd say that's rare. I mean,
there's some snobs out there.
But that's everywhere
real.
you go.
Hype beasts. It's the hype beasts. I'll say that right now. It's the freaking hype beasts. I'm sorry. I used to have a problem with that. It just bothered me because it was like,
What, you were a hype beast, or you had a problem with hype beasts?
yes. There was
I feel the prejudice.
There was a point in which I was just like only on the shoes that like everybody wanted. So I was like, oh yeah, Travis Scott. Like that's all I would go for is like I just want a Travis Scott shoe.
Yeah.
I still want one. They're beautiful shoes, but it's not for the sake of like it being either an expensive shoe or like everyone wants it. It's just like I appreciate like, especially for someone who like wants to build shoes one day and like have my own shoe. Like I just appreciate like the material and thought that goes into it. I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. There are those people that are just like too good for you.
For sure. I mean, I would definitely say like what got me into sneakers was like the popular ones, seeing them around.
Yeah.
But and I get kind of not really hate, but people are like, what? Like I mean, there's one Travis Scott shoe that I thought was super cool, but it's because I love green, and it was the most recent release. The olives. Those are so cool. But I'm not really a big fan of Travis Scott's, and similarly, I'm not a big fan of Off-Whites. I mean, I do have one pair of Off-Whites, and they were given to me. Disclaimer: they're UAs, but they're just kind of a beater shoe.
UA
and
means fake.
They low key had me like I didn't even know until I realized, oh, they don't make half sizes and Off-Whites, but I was like, I don't care, whatever. They're comfortable.
They still look cool. Yeah,
but
you're not trying to flex them either.
Well, no, I'm not being like, I'm not out there every time somebody's like, oh, I like them, I'm like, yeah, they're fake.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't make a habit of buying fake shoes. If you do, honestly, like do what you want to. Like it's not like who really cares at the end of the day. But
I don't have a problem with people who buy replicas or anything like that. The only time I have a problem with it is when you flex it and you try and throw it across as if it's the real thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you're just lying. Like you are there for the clout.
Yeah.
If you're just like wearing it because you appreciate the style, by all means go for it. But if you're there to get in people's faces,
then it's like
Please.
what's your play here?
Yeah. It's just like I don't appreciate it.
And straight up, like if I was gonna buy a pair of reverse shutter backwards, I probably wouldn't get the original ones again because they're like $1,300 right now. Like I'd get a fake pair if I wanted to get them, and not because I'm like trying to be like, oh yeah, I got it like that. It was like if I really want that shoe that bad, I don't have $1,300 to spare.
Right.
But just about like the there's nothing wrong with Off-Whites, there's nothing wrong with T Scotts, but just like I'm gonna buy shoes that I think are cool that go with my wear style. Like there are a lot of people who I can be like, oh, I like those shoes, but I can't pull them off. And so it's like that like appreciation for like somebody's style that necessarily doesn't fit mine.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing I love about the sneaker culture is it's just like there's differences in styles and what people tend to wear and how they style their shoes with their whole fit. But it's just like, you know, you have appreciation for things that you necessarily can't pull off or that like look weird in your shoe size. Or
as a white man, I can't pull off a pair of Jordan 11s to save my life.
Really?
I bought the Jordan 11, the Jubilees, right when they came out. I got them on the drop.
Yeah.
And I loved them because I was like, oh, it's all black. It just looks super clean. It had the nice silver Jumpman on it. Put them on and I was like, I look like an idiot. I just look stupid.
Yeah.
And it looked like I was wearing like, you know, the golf club like covers.
Yeah.
It looked like I had those on my feet.
Nice.
And so I was like, I'm returning these right now.
I've had some 11. My first pair of Jordans ever was the Bread 11 lows.
Clean.
Loved them. But again, low top.
Yeah.
I've never actually worn high top 11s. I mean, I've tried them on, but I think it would kind of be the same. And I'm the same way with Yeezys. I used to have a pair of Yeezys, but I have a smaller foot, like 9.5, and I think my Yeezys were 9. So because they're so short, they just look like duck feet. You gotta have I feel like you gotta have a big foot or like a long build to pull those off.
You also have to wear like a certain type of clothing. Like you have to dress like Kanye in order to wear a Yeezy correctly.
That's true.
Because like I had one pair, and I waited for that pair for like a year, and then I wore them with skinny jeans, and I was like, wow, I look horrible. Why did I do this to myself? And I never wore them again. I wore them twice, and I was like, never again. Yeah. And I sold them.
Yeah. But it's not because you don't like the shoe. It just it doesn't fit with your style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but
think there's a little deeper meaning in there.
If there is, you want to pull it out because I can't think of anything.
I was just kind of thinking about how like as people, we have different skills, and like sometimes I can have something like, okay, here's an example.
Okay.
Singing. I freaking love music. I cannot sing worth my life. You know, I write in my free time sometimes, like poetry and stuff, and I like to say that I'm pretty good, but if I ever try to sing, like for the dude who sits in front of me at church on Sunday, I am so sorry. But because I love music, but I just don't have that skill, and I have an appreciation for it. Now I've got a buddy, Gabriel. You know Gabriel, obviously. We've got this buddy Gabriel who's just an incredibly gifted musician. The way he just playing instruments and his voice is just incredible, and you know, it's like an appreciation for that skill that I don't necessarily have. And so similarly, like with shoes and how like you can connect on that level, like connecting with people over like gifts and abilities, and just everyday life, being like, oh, like I appreciate that. That's super cool. I don't have that gift. Again, just like reminding us of our like humanity and like different skills and abilities. And just the ways that God has gifted us, and how we can create art, but also just like use it to build better societies, to glorify Him, to just, you know, use all those different things.
Word. Dang. that was
I wonder if it works.
Yeah. I hate that it cuts off so fast. But
I hope that worked.
I think it did.
Sweet.
For those of y'all that can hear us saying, I hope it works, we just played an applause button. Hopefully it plays through on the sound, or else that would have been a really awkward just pause in the middle of our conversation. But I was applauding what you just said, because it's very true. It's crazy that something as simple as this brings people together. But then, like you're saying, there's so many skills and like abilities that people have, and for some people it like highlights them, and obviously it can take them to like celebrity status and all of these things. But instead of people just being like, man, I really appreciate them, you get those people who then like jump on these bandwagons of like, oh, they suck, or like you get the jealous types that come in, and it's like, why can't we just embrace?
Like, oh, why would you wear those sneakers? Why would you do that? Like, dude, if he likes them, like, style them. That's what fashion is about.
Not
expressing
putting them on
yourself.
your feet.
You better wear these shoes.
So that's crazy. Like, just even to the extent of like, even with like Christianity and stuff like that. Like it's this thing of like, our commonality as Christians is Jesus, and yet we judge each other super quickly based off of like sometimes what we post on Instagram, which sometimes is valid, sometimes is not, but like we like gauge each other at these spirituality levels, or like how much time you spend at church, or like how much time you get in the Word. Like obviously those things are important, but they don't define you as a person, you know? Like my goal is to read the Bible every single day. I can tell you that does not happen. Does that make me an awful Christian? No, it makes me human. Like I can't do those things all the time, but instead of going, oh, well, you should be in it every day, you go, hey, way to go. At least you read 3 times this week. More than somebody else did. And hopefully they'll be able to eventually get to that point too. But let's keep going for more. Like, why can't we just encourage each other and embrace? I've heard this term, embrace the suck. Like, why can't we embrace the suck, but then also just enjoy the small victories? It's like,
and it's like, well, is your goal in reading the Bible to read your Bible, or is the goal in reading your Bible to like learn and get closer to God and gain more understanding? And I think a lot of times it's kind of like a checklist, or like a ranking, or like, oh, let me see how many of these good Christian things that I can stack up. Like, oh, I was a door greeter this week, and I did this many service projects this month, and I was in my Bible. I read through 2 whole books, and like as if quantity equals quality. You know. And even I've seen, which is like one of my biggest problems with Christian, is like judgmental. People being judgmental, which it's there, and I'm so sorry if you've been on the wrong end of that by somebody who claims to follow Jesus. And I just want to say right now, if you are dabbling in the Christianity or just listening to this podcast and don't really care about the Christian stuff, or just want to hear about the sneakers, like, and you've been on the wrong end of that church hurt or that misrepresentation of Jesus, that is not the Lord's heart. That is not the Christ that we follow. That is not the Christ that died for humanity.
It's not even Christians. It's like a very small population of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that can paint a really bad picture.
And and this sucks because like that hurt. I've been on the other end of that hurt.
Yeah.
And it's it's painful, and it's just like I wouldn't want anything to do with that. And for a while I did. I walked away. But another thing that I see a lot of times, similar to like the ranking, is like spiritual gifts. Like somebody who's like really skilled in teaching, and they'll be like, oh, like I'm better than you because I'm a leader. And somebody who's just like really good with, I don't know, like discernment, you know, because it's not tangible.
Yeah.
You know, and people will be like, oh, like I'm a teacher, I'm a leader. Like are you really though? If like that's the thing that you're portraying, or like this somebody who's just like really wise.
Yeah.
In the way that they're conducting their daily affairs or whatever.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be straight up because this is like real talk. One, the Bible never said, like, obviously there's a gift in like having leadership qualities, but like you never see a place in the Bible where it says go be a leader somewhere. It says like follow Jesus, follow God, and make disciples, love one another. Like it never talks about getting in front of people, having followers. Like the only person that should have followers is Jesus. We are one of those people, and we should be trying to help build that following. And so it's hard, like to your point, to see like those people who go, oh yeah, I'm a leader, like follow behind me. Like, man, no, like Jesus was a shepherd. He got behind people, and he didn't, like, obviously he said follow me, but he also guided them. Yeah. And was like, no, like stay away from those things. Like don't mess with that. And so it's interesting too, like on the topic of like spiritual gifts, to like then rank those things and go, oh, well, you know, I have this, and I'm it's almost like throwing like a an Uno +4 and be like, gotcha. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, joke's on you, I've got one too. And then that one person's like,
stacks it up. Yeah.
Crap, I have a
as if like
two.
you did something to get that as well. Right.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things, like everyone's created equal, and you know, we don't all have the same things, but we are given the same opportunities with different skills. And so what we should be doing is embracing that. Yeah. Going, you know, if you have the gift of speaking in tongues, man, use it how it should be used biblically, you know, whether that's in your quiet prayer life or if it is public and there's an interpreter and, you know, it's in proper use. Yeah. But I have a gift of discernment, or, you know, whatever
something
else it
less
is.
Tangible, yeah.
Right.
You can't see or point your finger on.
Yes. Then, you know, use those to glorify God. But the moment you make it about yourself, like that gift is, it's just tarnished. That sucks. So,
yeah. And like, how awful and boring would the world be if we were all the same, right? You know, and think about just even relating that to the sneaker world. Like, what if you went to SneakerCon and every single person was wearing a pair of Dunks? Like
all white Air Forces everywhere,
right? Like that, like shoes. Every time you bust out a shoe, like it doesn't have to be a banger,
right?
Like, and that's part of it. It's like something subtle is just like appreciation for style. But like, if everybody's wearing the same sneaker, like there would be no culture there. There would be no way to express, no uniqueness. And I think that's, the Lord is so purposeful in the way that he creates people differently, the way that he gives people different views, the way that he gives people different ways to see the world, and different ways to use their gifts in the world. I think that's incredibly purposeful.
Yeah. Bro, that's a word right there. Get on the podcast right now and be like, all right, see you next week. Yep. 'Cause that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So what is that? I guess my question for you then, for everyone listening, is like, if we can acknowledge these things, then like, what do we do to change that now? Yeah. Like, if it's so easy to pinpoint it, but how do we actually create that change? What do you think that looks like?
I think it comes down to something as simple as just recognizing that every human is created in the image of God. Man and woman, big or small, color of whatever background you're from, doesn't matter. Similarly as like, and I'm going to relate this to sneaker culture because that's what this is about. Like if you see somebody with a pair of sneakers, like boom, you understand sneakers, right? So if I see a human and I understand from the start, hey, this person was crafted by my Lord, the creator of all things, to bear his image and represent him in some way. Like already we're on that plane of we have purpose, we have consciousness, we have spirit, we have the ability to love, we have human aspects that were given to us by a spiritual being to be spiritual people on this earth in physical bodies. Like, and that sounds like a lot of like, you know, complex Bible words and all that stuff, but like simply put, we are created equal in the image of a creator, like from the start. And if we see people like that, I think it's really easy, or much easier, I should say, to love, to understand, to listen to people just as similar. Like I felt much more comfortable often at like a sneaker convention or around sneakerheads that I've never met sometimes than into a church that I've grown up in because of the judgment that falls behind. Like, well, like what's going on in their life? What did their parents do? What did their brother do? What did, you know, I see them post on Instagram, or, you know, like that judgment, when it should be like, hey, like this person's here and they're human. And I saw a quote the other day talking about just like, if we want to embrace one another and build community and relationship, which you don't have to be buddy with everybody, but if you get to know people, it's hard to hate people up close.
Dang. That's a quote. Like that's so good, man. It's hard to hate people up close.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to be on the other end of a screen or to be point fingers, but when you get to know people, a lot of times there's stories, there's things going on behind the scenes you don't know about. Yeah. Even if somebody blows up at you, like you can be like, oh, that guy was a douche. Like that dude may have literally just lost his job. Like that guy may have literally, like his car may have given out. That's his only means of transportation, or you know, whatever is going on. It's not an excuse to be rude, but like getting to know people, like you never know what's going on. And when you do know somebody, like it really is hard to hate people like that. Yeah. When you know them, when you're personal with them.
So love people, dang it. Get to know them. Seek to understand.
Yep.
Slow to speak. Quick to listen. Biblical.
Yes, sir.
Read about it.
We'll put down in the show notes or description references or verses for listening first and loving people. Yeah. But you know, we were reading Romans not too long ago, and there was the greeting for that whatchamacallit book is talks about just Paul, who's basically like the Jordan of the disciples.
That's a great way to phrase that.
He's the Jordan. GOAT. I mean, or well, okay. You know what I'll say? I'll say you know what? I'll take it back. I'm going to say Jesus is Jordan and Paul is Kobe, because he imitates him almost pretty much identically to the best that he can. He's not the GOAT. Jesus the GOAT, but this man he's OP.
Then where do you rank Peter and John the Baptist?
Man, they're like,
because I feel like
Johnson and Bird.
I was gonna say putting anyone in the LeBron section, I feel like is an insult.
Oh, we're gonna get some backlash for that. Yeah. But hey, if you love LeBron, you know,
LeBron's
great
talented.
Player, but he's not the GOAT. Sorry, that guy's the GOAT.
Facts.
I'm pointing. If you're listening on just podcast, there's a picture of Jordan behind us.
Yeah.
So.
Also,
anyway,
bro, I just want to say right now, our camera gave out again.
I know. We got to fix the overheating issue.
We will. Yeah, we don't know what that's about. So you know what? We're just going to keep learning.
Too much hot facts on these mics, bro.
Facts. It's just getting hot in here.
Yeah, with this heat on our feet, the camera heating up.
Facts.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Bible. And Paul is just talking to the church in Rome, and he's just talking about like his purpose for wanting to go see them and being in community with them.
Yeah.
And I think this just so simply sums up what it means to be like in community or be a disciple or be a Christian.
Yeah.
Which people can be like, oh, being a Christian means all these things, but I feel like this is so simply put. In this letter, he writes, "For I long to see you that I may impart to you some spiritual gifts to strengthen you. That is, that we may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith, both yours and mine." And while Paul, you could argue, like, has the authority to say, "Hey, you guys are being idiots. This is what you need to do."
Yeah.
He's choosing to be like, "Hey, we're all in this boat trying to figure out life together. Like, let's mutually encourage each other. I want to see what gifts and abilities you have that I can learn from, and I want to take these gifts and abilities that I have and help you learn. Like, let's grow together. Not like look at me, I'm Paul. I'm, doing all these crazy, awesome things," which he did. You can read about it pretty much the whole New Testament. Paul wrote like half of it or something. Something crazy
about it.
But he's like the whole goal is to be mutually encouraged. And is that not what it is to do life? Like, ain't nobody want to be a lone wolf. Like, people do that mentality. Like, that stuff does not work long term.
You are not an alpha by doing that.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt yourself, boy.
Exactly. So, like, be mutually encouraged. Whether that's deep diving into like church community, or just being like, "Hey, like, I need some brothers at 2 a.m. when I'm struggling, or when like my depression is hitting, or whenever, I'm getting tempted to go to that website," or whatever it is. Like, having somebody you can lean on, or maybe it's something deeper than that. Maybe you're like just really wrestling through like family issues that you don't have a family to go to talk about. Like, you need fellowship for things like that. Real life issues, substance addiction. I mean, the list can go on, but like, whatever life throws at you, like, you can't do these things alone, and like, you don't have to.
Yeah. No, that's so good. I mean, even just what you said right now of like real talk again on podcast, because that's what we got to do here. Like, yesterday, I was stupid depressed, and like, obviously, I don't want to sit in that stuff, and it's been a rough season, and I'll openly say that because I think it's fair to say it. But then, having people like you and even like Malachi who are hitting me up and going, "Hey, like, what's going on?" Like, obviously I know it's not who I am. It's not who I am, but you're not just like, "Oh man, praying for you," throwing a little high five and then like moving on. Like, in the same way that like we want to embrace people for who they are, we also have to embrace them when they're down and pick them up. And so, like, yesterday you were just like, "Hey, I'm gonna go work out. You should come with me." And I was like, "I need to get out of the house, and I don't know how to do that by myself." And so then you're like, "Cool, like,
let's go,
come." And so then we hung out for the
I'm
rest
so
of
glad
the
you
day.
did. I was looking afraid you were like, I don't know if I can go. So I'm really glad you came.
Honestly, I was 50-50 on it, because I was still laying in bed, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna go." I was like fighting just to get out of bed.
But it's like that sometimes, man.
Absolutely.
And,
But just to your point, like, to embrace each other and get into those spaces, like, you weren't doing it out of a sake of like, "Oh, I'm gonna save this guy. I'm gonna be the hero for today." You're like, "No, like, this dude's hurting. Like, I know what it looks like to hurt, and I know he's hurting. So like, let me help him out." And so, man, like, if we could do that for everybody, not like obviously for the people we love and we know, like, that already does wonders for relationships and for people in general. But to then, like the Bible says, like, love the orphans and the widows, and like, to do those things without question and do it from an understanding of, "Hey, I'm here to love you," without judgment, without getting anything in return, but like, just because I want to. Man, what would our world look like?
I mean, that's like Good Samaritan from like the heart, and it makes me think of like when you said like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, dang, that sucks. Praying for you." I think sometimes, like, okay, first of all, as a believer, like, I fully believe in the power of prayer. Right. 100%. It's real. But like in James, it says, like, he who prays that like the poor would be fed, but doesn't lend a man his cloak in a time of need, like, that man's faith is dead. Like, you can't just be like, "Oh, I'll pray about it," and like, God's just gonna like fix his depression, just drop it in there. Or like, oh man, like I wish that dude could fill his car up with gas. Wish he had more money, and like his account's gonna go up. Like, no, go buy that dude a tank of gas.
Yeah.
And so like, and in my first like men's group back in Huntsville, Texas, Nathan, if you're listening, I'm giving you credit for this. He was like, as Christians, we want to do what we call like drive-by prayers. Like, oh, I'm praying for you, or like, pray something. Thanks, bro. Out. You know? No.
You just said, I'm so sorry.
All right. No,
like I'm shooting prayers at you, not shooting you. I'm sorry. That just didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. Please keep going.
We'll pull it back a little bit. And by drive-by prayers, which I hesitate to say again, it's kind of like you throw the prayer up and you're just like, okay, I'm throw it up and like, God's got it. I'm out.
Yeah.
Or we just tell people like, oh, I'm praying for you, and we walk away.
Yeah.
But what we really mean is like, oh, I'm thinking about you. Like, what would it look like to actually, hey, my brother's hurting. Mm-hmm. Like, let me take a break. Let me give him a call. Or if not, just sit and stop where you're at and like actually pray, and then reach out and be like, hey, like what happened yesterday. Like,
yeah.
I hated seeing that, man, because I know you've been going through it. Yeah. And so I didn't want to just sit there and be like, just like hope Adler's doing okay. Tough. I'll see him at church tomorrow. Yeah. Like, no, like, come work out with me. Yeah. And so and conversely, like, if you're in that state, talking to you, Adler, and also to anybody listening, like, I think it's really hard for us to ask for help, but I would honestly say that most people, if it's voiced, can find somebody that is willing to help, or can find somebody that has felt or can relate.
Absolutely.
I think it's a lie from the pit of hell that you are alone in what you're feeling and that nobody can help you.
Yeah. And honestly, like, there's this really weird stipulation behind asking for help and associating it with like either being weak or not enough. Like asking for help depreciates the value of who you are.
I would say quite the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, obviously, like, people will come to that on their own in time, and Lord willing they do. But like for those who have been able to experience just that spot of like, hey, I need to talk to somebody about things, or I do need help on this. Like, I realize I can't do it on my own. One, like, as Christians, we see that all the time just in our spiritual walk of, hey, I am a sinner. Yeah. Like, I sin constantly. It is in my nature. And so I need a savior to save me. Yeah. Hello, that's where Jesus walks in. But at the same time, like, it also says that we can depend on each other to build each other up. Those who love the Lord will strive for the things of him. And so we will build each other to be more like Jesus. Yeah. And so, yeah, like, it's just, it blows my mind. And at the same time, I totally understand, like, asking for help is hard, but it's so rewarding when you do.
That's a word.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, yeah, man, it's powerful stuff. But I think if we can take away anything from this, in the same way that sneakerheads love shoes and love style and love the game of it all, and can enjoy each other on that level just as they are without knowing anything about them, Christians should be able to do the same. And as of today in our conversation, that's exactly what I want to do. Yeah, I want to be able to, like, not just talk about these things but walk it out. Yeah. And so I, like, at least for me, like, I'm going to be much more aware of the way that I love people, but the way I carry myself. Like, I don't want it to just be, oh, I'm hyped up when I see my boys. I want to carry that same energy, not even just hyped up, but I want to carry the same character traits and attitude in a place full of strangers that I would at home or with my friends. I think that's huge. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just like, what would it look like if we loved and accepted people as people in the church? And by, when I say in the church, I don't mean within the walls of that building. I mean, like, as a believer of Christ. If you believe in Jesus Christ, like, you are part of the church. Yeah. Not a Baptist church or a, Church of Christ church or whatever. Like, follower of Jesus church. One church. What would it look like to love people regardless, like the sneakerheads just connect with each other.
Yeah.
Like we can learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, that's freaking good. I love these conversations.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you have any kind of questions on like any of our background, we have episode 1. We would love for you to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Shares a little bit more of like the message and story behind what we're doing, as well as our own stories.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll continue to carry these conversations moving forward. But yeah, I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up today's episode. Appreciate you watching, listening. Again, apologize about the camera. We're figuring it out, and it will get fixed. But we would love for you to follow us on Instagram at The Soul Reality. Same thing on YouTube. We are The Soul Reality. Would love for you to follow, like the video if you like the video. Comment just any thoughts that you have on these things. We love getting to see responses because like not only does it give us feedback on like how we're doing, but like we want to be able to talk about the things that y'all want to talk about. And so that's important. But yeah, you can check us out there or on any podcast platform. Would love for you to rate us. Whatever rating you want. We would love 5 stars. No big deal. But not even necessarily for the score, but it helps spread what we're doing here. And it's not about building some empire or platform, but man, if we love Jesus this much, we want to be able to share this good news and share real truth and love with everybody, because why shouldn't everybody have a chance to receive it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
we just want to love people and connect with people like we connect with shoes. I mean, that's really the heart behind this whole thing. Along with our Soul Reality Instagram, we also have our personal Instagrams, which feel free to DM us any questions or just comments or suggestions or whatever on those. Mine is Kenley at KenleyC _12. That's KenleyC _12. AD, what's yours?
Yeah, mine is Adler Geike. It's all just one thing. ADLERGOEKE. That's on Instagram, Threads even. Yeah. I'm gonna get our account on Threads. I don't know if you've been on Threads yet. It's just Instagram, Twitter.
Word.
But that might be a cool place to like have some like conversations or like throw topics out there and just kind of see what people are into.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be deep. Also, tell us what sneaker drops you're looking forward to. Tell us what sneakers you like.
Give us the hot takes.
Yeah, hot takes. Love that. Let's do that.
Yeah, like dunks are overrated. I agree. Even though I'm wearing them. Overrated. They're becoming the new Air Force One. Okay. Well, with that, love Jesus.
Wear your sneakers.
Peace. Actually,
what?
I totally messed up.
What's that?
I said love Jesus. I mean, obviously love Jesus, but our motto is walk with Jesus. My bad. We're only 2 episodes in and I'm already messing up. Walk with Jesus.
Wear your sneakers.
Peace.
Peace.